What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. Welcome to our daily show where we discuss everything going on here in our country that you need to know about here on a daily basis. I want to give you guys an update on one of the bills to raise Social Security benefits by $2,400 per year and also to raise Social Security benefits by to 125% of the federal poverty level, which is $1,415 per month, would make the Social Security benefits the minimum payout per month. So the way that works is the federal poverty level would be, so you can see here, this bill calls for the federal poverty level right now in 2022 is 1,305.90 or 13,590 here. And you divide that by 12, that's 1132 per month. Okay, but they want to make it 125% of that. Okay, so you can see here that comes out to $1,415 a month. So that would be the minimum Social Security payout per month. Okay, and you can also see here, I want to give you an update on this. You can see here, this is right from CNBC here. California lawmakers call on Congress to pass bill to shore up Social Security. This is a big update here. Here's the details on this. California lawmakers recently approved a joint resolution asking Congress to pass the Social Security expansion proposal. The bill, called the Social Security 2100 a sacred trust, would require those with incomes of more than $400,000 to pay more taxes towards the program and raise benefits. Such a change may help prevent a funding shortfall that would reduce benefits, and California State Senator Nancy Skinner told CNBC. You could see here, as talk of Social Security reform heats up heading into the November election, one congressional proposal to expand the federal program has received a new endorsement from California lawmakers. In August, a joint resolution passed both the state Senate and its assembly. Now it goes to Capitol Hill with a specific purpose to request California representatives in Congress support expanding Social Security by voting in favor of the bill, formerly known as Social Security 2100, a sacred trust. Quote, "It's the state of California telling Congress we want you to pass H.R. 5723, said California State Senator Nancy Skinner, the lead author of the bill. The latest version of Social Security 2100 was introduced by Representative John Larson, Democrat from Connecticut, in October. The event included attendance of high-profile Democrats, including House Ways and Means Committee Chairman Richard Neal and Representative AOC Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez from New York. The bill has attracted broad support among Democratic House lawmakers with 202 co-sponsors. Democrats currently have a House majority with 221 members. Social Security has an estimated 13-year time frame when it can continue to pay full benefits. After that, in 2035, just 80% of benefits will be payable, according to a report from the Social Security Program's trustees released in June. The Social Security 2100 Act has multiple different changes. There's several different bills, actually, that are kind of similar, that have varying different raises to Social Security and extend the time frame, to extend the solvency. There's a couple different bills, as I said here, but the Social Security 2100 Act proposal calls for reapplying these payroll taxes for people that make more than $400,000. A change Skinner calls one of the most important features of the bill. Almost all of those bills have a varying degree. Some call for people making over $250,000 to start paying into Social Security. This is because multimillionaires and even billionaires are paying the same amount to Social Security as those who make in 150,000. This is because you stop paying into Social Security at $147,000. That changes every year for inflation. It goes up a little bit, but that's the maximum you can pay into Social Security. That's when you kind of hit the maximum amount that you can pay for the year. In California specifically, there's a small percentage of very high income people who can afford to contribute more to Social Security. The fact that we have not adjusted it is partly why we are going to face a shortfall. Social Security 2100 proposes a host of other changes to make benefits more generous. That includes a broad increase of about 2% of the average benefit for both new and existing beneficiaries. It would also raise the minimum benefit to 25% above the federal poverty line. That's the 125% of the federal poverty line. You can see here 25% above the federal poverty line. That's 125% above, 25% above the federal poverty line. It also seeks to change the way the annual cost of living adjustments are measured. That would change it to the CPIE for this consumer price index for the elderly. So that would make it a better cost of living adjustment every year. So you would actually get a higher raise every year than you currently get. Improved benefits for widows and widowers, and increased benefit access for some students and children, repeal rules that result in reduced benefits for public workers, eliminate the 5-month waiting period for disability benefits, and create caregiver credit. So you can see here multiple different things in this bill. A separate bill proposed by Senator Bernie Sanders of Vermont, Elizabeth Warren from Democrat from Massachusetts, introduced this year, would push out the program's solvency for 75 years, adding $2,400 per year to benefits. That proposal calls for reapplying the payroll tax at $250,000 rather than $400,000. You can see here Senator Bernie Sanders of Vermont calls for legislation to expand Social Security by $2,400 a year and extend the solvency for 75 years. So Social Security has already done the math. They sent their accountants and their mathematicians to actually do the math, and they said that yes, we could pay the additional $2,400 a year benefits and actually extend the solvency and increase the benefits doing this, because the high income earners making over $250,000 would be paying into the system. So people that make 250,000, or people that make 500,000, people that make a million, people that make 10 million, people that make 100 million would be paying into the Social Security system all that additional taxes, and they would thereby be able to pay an additional $2,400 a year for everybody, and this would actually pay that extra money and extend the solvency by 75 years. So, what do you think of this? So, this is something that they're trying to pass here before the midterm elections. So, this is something they really got to get on their horse here and try to pass here, uh, September, October. Really, this is something they really got to get on their horse and try to do before the midterm elections. So, what that means here is that call your senators, your representatives, and see what they can do here. If not, then after the midterm elections, Congress, who knows? Who knows what could happen here? Um, could be a completely different ballgame. So basically, the House of Representatives is a 50-50 chance. I mean, every single seat in the House of Representatives is up for re-election. It could be Democrat controlled, it could be Republican controlled. Every single seat's up for re-election. Of course, the Republicans think they're going to take it back over. The Democrats think that they're going to retain uh, you know, control of it. But realistically, it's a 50-50 chance of either party winning mathematically. It's just mathematically, it's a even odd for anybody to win the House of Representatives. Just mathematically, it's even. It's a roll of the dice, whoever wins. You can let me know your thoughts. If you're a Democrat, you probably think Democrats are going to win. If you're a Republican, you probably think Republicans are going to win. Now, the Senate is a different story because mathematically, the Democrats have a mathematic advantage, and there's a couple reasons for this. Number one is, and I'm not choosing sides here or anything. This is just kind of the math. Math doesn't lie. It's kind of famous saying here, but the math doesn't lie. And number two is that, well, let me start here with number one first. Number one is that Republicans have more seats up for election. And this is because that the senators serve 6-year terms and the House of Representatives serve 2-year terms. So when the House comes up for reelection, every single House representative every 2 years goes up for reelection. It's kind of seems like it's that would be a lot because every 2 years you got to go up for reelection. So really, every year and a half, you're basically back on the campaign trail and saying you got to go vote for me and do that whole spiel and back up and you got to do that whole thing. It kind of seems a lot, you know, to do that every year and a half and do that whole thing again. It really kind of would seem to like a big chore. But nonetheless, they got to do the whole voting thing every year and every 2 years, and they're all up for reelection. But senators have 6-year terms. So like Mitch McConnell just won his 6-year term, and he's like 80 years old or something like that. He's in there for 6 more years now. Okay, and he won by a pretty good amount, pretty good landslide here. But like Nancy Pelosi, she won by a landslide last time, but she's up for reelection again. Okay, so she gets, every time, every 2 years, she's got to get voted in here. But Mitch McConnell, he won, but he's good for 6 years now. So every 2 years, there are senators up, but they kind of rotate. Okay, so they go for 6-year terms, but about a third of them are up for reelection every 2 years. So only about a third of senators are up for reelection. So this election, the third of senators that are happen to be up for reelection this year, the incumbents that are up for reelection, the majority of them that are up for reelection are Republicans. So the ones that are retaining their seats and are up for reelection are Republicans. Okay, so just mathematically, there's more Republicans that are retaining their seats that are up for reelection. There's a few guys that kind of retired and are just completely giving up their seats, and it's like an open up for grab thing. The other thing here is that in a 50-50 Senate, which is exactly what we have now, we have a tie 50-50 Senate. We have 50 Republicans, 50 Democrats. The Democrats actually win in this particular case because the tiebreaker goes to whoever is the vice president of the United States. And the vice president of the United States right now is a Democrat because the Democrats are, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. So whoever is the president and the vice president gets the tiebreaker seat. So the president of the Senate is actually the vice president of the United States. So that tiebreaker vote goes to whoever is the vice president. In this case, it's a Democrat. So the Democrats only need 50 votes. Okay. So for the Republicans to win the Senate, the Republicans actually need to get 51 votes. Okay. So again, mathematically, the Republicans need to get 51 votes in the Senate. So they would have to win 51-49 to actually win the Senate, where the Democrats would only need to actually get 50 votes. And remember that there's more Republican seats up for reelection. So it's kind of not to say that it can't happen, because surely anything can happen, but the Democrats have a double kind of edge there. But again, surely anything can happen. It's just like if you're a wrestler or if you're a NFL football team and you're like the number one seed, surely number one seeds get beat all the time. Um, but kind of the Democrats kind of have a little bit of advantage going in. How much of an advantage? Well, mathematically, I don't know, you could do the math and maybe it's a 5% advantage or something like that. But nonetheless, there's an advantage. In the House, there's no advantage at all. And then really the kind of other things to think about here are the other major political things going on here, like the Roe v. Wade and the abortion rights, how much that was going to play here. A lot of people are going to be going to vote here for women's choice or for pro life. A lot of people are going, more people are going to be going to vote here because of things like that. A lot of people are going to be going to vote here for like gun choice and gun rights and stuff like that. A lot of people are going to be, the school stuff that's been going on here, the Uvalde things and things like that, major things like that. Also inflation, things like that. Inflation at a 40-year high right now. A lot of people are very upset with that. Very have had it up to here with that. A lot of people think for one reason or another, it's because of one reason or another. And a lot of people are going saying, I'm going to go vote for one, this, that, or the other reason. And a lot of, and really it's, you know, the question here is that are people going to vote differently or are they going to vote the same that they've always voted? There's a lot of people that say, I vote Republican every year, every time. And there's a lot of people that say, I vote Democrat every year, every time. Those are the people that aren't going to make or break an election. As long as they go out and actually vote, if they're used to voting, if they always vote, those are the kind of the strongholds for both sides. As long as they're voting and they're the normal votes that actually go out and vote. As long as we're not seeing less or more of those people. If we see more people go out and vote, so if we see more Democrats go out and vote or more Republicans go out and vote, that'll help either party. But I think that this is going to be the biggest election ever for reasons because of abortion, because of gun rights, because of the inflation, because of the economy. And that's probably just a sampling of the things going on here. You can let me know your thoughts here. But I think that really the last election was the largest election, and I think a lot of people really was because it was. I think a lot of the last election was because of Trump. He was really a love him or hate him guy. You can let me know your thoughts. I seen a lot of. I remember a lot the last election. A lot of people were saying I'm voting for Trump or I'm voting against Trump. A lot of people said, I really wasn't voting for Biden. I was voting against Trump or for Trump. Biden was just kind of like the guy that was kind of there, you know. You can let me know your thoughts here. He was just kind of like the guy against Trump or the guy for Trump, or you were voting for Trump or you were voting against Trump a lot of times. Well, Trump's, it's not a presidential election this time, but I think that this is going to be the most voted on non-presidential election ever. We'll see. We'll see. But I think that, and we've been seeing this already. We've been seeing more women registered to vote ever already, and we're still a good month and a half away or so from midterms and stuff. Some states are already having like mail-in votings and registered votings, and some governor things are already kind of starting here. Um, but for the most case, it's still kind of early, but we're starting to already see more women registered to vote than we have ever seen. And a lot of this is because of Roe v. Wade and the abortion issues. And a lot of people are saying, you know what, this is something that directly affects me, not me personally, but whoa, it does kind of affect me because I feel, I mean, me and my wife, this we feel a personal connection to this. We've had my wife on the show. I really want her to be on the show more, but she's so busy with Julie, and everything, and hopefully we'll get her on the show here more as well. But really, this is some serious stuff here, and we feel a personal connection to a lot of things. The gun stuff here, inflation. You guys, you guys are really part of our family. So let me know your thoughts here in the comments. I'll keep up to date. Let me know your thoughts. What do you think? So make sure to subscribe down below to our YouTube channel. It's completely free to do so. New videos come out here every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And make sure to click the bell icon after you subscribe. It's completely free to do so. You can click here to watch my newest video about checks that are going out to millions of Americans. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.